So today we're going to be looking at Gravity Forms and how to integrate that with ActiveCampaing. Now, if you've been using ActiveCampaign forms, then I highly recommend that you take a look at Gravity Forms. It's a very affordable WordPress plugin. It's about $50 a year, and it integrates very well with ActiveCampaign. In fact, you can integrate Gravity Forms without having to pay for Zapier because they've got a built-in integration with ActiveCampaign. So this one here, the basic license, that's pretty much all most people will need. It's available on one site, unlimited forms, unlimited entries, conditional logic, multi-page forms, file uploads, automatic updates for the year. And then if you don't renew next year, it's free. You just don't get the updates and you don't get the support. Most of the time you just have to buy this once and that's it. It doesn't really get updated all that often, and the support you don't really need once you get the hang of it. So when you're setting up the forms, we'll have a look at this contact form. It's a pretty common form for people to set up. You can basically just build your forms like any form builder. On the right here, when it loads up, you'll see the different types of fields that we can add to our form. And the thing I really like about Gravity Forms is that if there's something that you want Gravity Forms to do and it's not built into the main app, there's going to be an add-on app that you can download from the plugin store. And so an example of that would be the capture. It's not built into Gravity Forms, but you can download a Gravity Forms capture and add it to all your forms really easily. You just download the plugin, activate the plugin, and then you'll have the capture showing up in wherever it is in this section, or the advanced fields. There it is. And then you can add it to your form. You can also download other things like copycats, so that if they enter data here, then that data's copied over to another field down there. You could also have redirect this form to that, or process payments via forms. You can do pretty much anything in Gravity Forms that you want to do via a form. Now, when you're building these forms out, the main fields that you'll be using are single line text, paragraph text, and then you might have a multi-select or drop-down or a radio button. They're kind of the three that most people will use. And then you've also got a custom HTML. Now, custom HTML allows you to essentially just add text to your form. And so you could just drag and drop this somewhere in the form, click into here, and then just add the content in here. And how that could work is you could have a form for a sales script that you follow every time that you have a call with someone, and you can just add your sales script directly to this form. So whilst you're on the phone, you could have all the sales script, and then you could say, oh, what's your phone number? I need to add that. I need to collect that for this stage, collect their phone number. Then you might ask them some questions, and as they're answering it, you could type in the answers into the form. You can have multi-page forms for collecting different stages of the sales cycle, etc. Now, the other type of form fields that you might be using are name, phone, address, email, and possibly a file upload or website or date field. So these are the advanced fields. They're going to push the data to be formatted a certain way. And most of the time, email is just the main field that you'll be using. We've got it here. And you can also set these fields to be required. You can enable email confirmations. You can change the appearance of the form, change the name of the field, change whether label is going to be displayed, the field size, change whether the fields are visible, hidden, or whether they're just administrative, so they're only viewable to admins. You can allow the field to be populated dynamically via a UTM parameter. So you can give the field a parameter name, such as email, and then in the URL, if our URL is url.com, we would then just add a question mark, and then we'd just say email equals, and then whatever the user's email is. And when they visit the form, if this was our form URL, in fact, it would probably just be something like this. So our main domain, then we're going to our page where the form is embedded, and on that page we're going to pre-fill this email field with whatever we're passing in via a UTM parameter. And you could build these UTM parameters directly into your email links. You could add them to wherever you like in ActiveCampaign. So when a user clicks an email in ActiveCampaign, you essentially just use this URL, and then instead of having that, you would actually just have the email, the ActiveCampaign personalization tag, which is that there. And then you could add multiple things, such as you could pre-fill their first name, and then use the personalization tag. You could pre-fill their phone number. Okay, so you could do anything, any number of UTM parameters in there, and then when they visit that URL, all those fields, if they exist for the contact in ActiveCampaign, they're going to be pre-filled onto the form. So that's really handy to have. Now you can also set the form to use conditional logic, show this field if this is this or that is that, and that's really handy for certain things. So that's how to build your form, a basic overview there. You can also change the styling and the layout of the form to make sure it fits in with your website, and there's a plugin that you can add to your website to really sort of supercharge that styling ability. Now, when to integrate to ActiveCampaign, you basically have to turn on the add-ons for the form, for Gravity Forms. So you go to Gravity Forms, Add-ons, and then under add-ons, you want to just activate the ActiveCampaign add-on. And once you've done that, you go over to the settings panel, and then you'll add the ActiveCampaign API details in here. I'm not going to show you that page because it's got the API details in there, but you'd add the API details there, save the page, and then you can basically push all the data to your ActiveCampaign account directly from the form. So to configure that, we just have to set up a feed, and you can set up any number of feeds here, and each feed will have a filter. Now this feed here, we've only got one feed, and so it's an unfiltered feed. So that means it's going to apply for any form submission on this form. But we could add a conditional logic here so that if the user selects, say, customer in one of these fields, then we're going to add conditional logic, and we're going to subscribe them up to our customer list. We're going to apply a tag that says customer. And if they select employee, then we're going to subscribe them to our employee list and add the tag employee. So you can add those conditions to the feed so that you can do different things based on what different fields are in the form that's being completed. But for the most part, you'll just have a one feed for all form completions. So you can select your list here, and when you select the list, that's going to pull up all the fields that are available for that list. And here are the ActiveCampaign fields on the left, and here are the Gravity Form fields on the right. And so all you need to do is just match up the content here. Email address matches your email, name matches your name, that's first name. Then last name matches whatever it is, organization, phone number matches phone number. So all of that sort of thing you can then just add to your email, add to your ActiveCampaign account directly. Now, if a field doesn't exist in ActiveCampaign, you can also just add a custom field directly from here. Now, it's always going to be a single line text field. So if you want to use any sort of other type of custom field, you'll have to add it to your ActiveCampaign account and then come back here, refresh the page, and then that will load the field in this list. Now, you can also add specific tags to the contact when they complete this form. So for instance, you might have form completed and then the form name, contact us. And if you want to add multiple tags, just separate them with a comma and a space. You can also personalize these tags based on whatever they've added to the form, or whether any of these form details such as entry ID, form ID, etc. You can pull all that in, add it as a tag. Now the notes section here, this is not an ActiveCampaign note. It doesn't get pushed to ActiveCampaign. It's really just an internal note of how you've set this feed up. It doesn't get pushed to the contact that I have been able to do. But you can add notes here as well if you wanted to. Then we've got options, send an instant responder. Most of the time you'll have that turned off or on, and then send the last broadcast campaign. Most of the time that's turned off. So once you've made all those changes, click on Update Settings, and the feed has been set up. So now anytime this form is completed, that data is going to be pushed across to ActiveCampaign and added to the existing contact if their email exists already, or a new contact is going to be created with that email address, and then they're going to be an active campaign. A few other things here on Gravity Forms. We can set the confirmations, and a confirmation is basically, you can set it as a text to show when the form is completed, or you could set it to redirect to a thank you page, or you could set it to do anything really. There's a whole bunch of options that you've got here. The main two are showing text and redirecting. So you can push them to a page, or you can redirect to another form. So you can do that here, and you can also personalize these with whatever field names they've got. So Gravity Forms is really quite powerful in how you can build the forms, in how much customization you've got on the forms, in how the forms look on your website. It's much, much more robust than the ActiveCampaing forms, and it's only $59 for the first year, and then you can choose to pay for it again or not after that. Now you can also send notification emails. You can send them to yourself, or you can send them to the person that's filled out the form, or any other email. Save all the details here as you need it. So that's Gravity Forms and how to integrate them to ActiveCampaing. If you've got any other questions, let me know. But essentially, that's all you have to do. Just set up the feed. You don't have to have any forms in ActiveCampaing for it to work. You don't have to do anything on the ActiveCampaing side except for maybe adding some custom fields. That's pretty much it. It's really as simple as that to set up the integration and integrate it to ActiveCampaing. So hopefully that's answered your questions here on Gravity Forms. Let me know in the comments below if you've got any other questions for Gravity Forms. Hi, I'm Mitch Bayless, and if you're looking for someone to help you with your business automation, then click the button below to schedule your free call today. And if you found this video useful, remember to click like, and also subscribe to our channel for more videos.